What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Forma building guide for this month's Hall of Forms featuring Halloween female Corrin, Halloween male Corrin, Fallen Lilith, and Legendary Ryoma. We're going to be having skills up to the newer banner, so there are a lot of skills added into the pool as well as new weapons like Dragonstone Plus, which could be run on these dragons. And keep in mind that after the update that we've got this month, you're going to be able to get higher SP skills on Chamber 25. So if you're trying to grind out the best skills on your Forma units, then you should be playing the highest chamber. So just a heads up on that. And starting off, we have got Halloween female Corrin, who's probably going to be the most popular pick out of this batch because she can still function with her weapon, even though we've got Legendary Corrin now, who has a really good weapon refine and remix. And this Corrin is not going to be able to get Negating Fang too, but still Negating Fang is a decent special that does give you the unpierceable damage reduction. And she's got her preferred weapon in Moonlight Stone, which does give her minus some special cooldown, making Negating Fang into a 2 cooldown special. And on turn 1, she gets minus 2 special cooldown if she's got a defensive special. So just like Shield Pulse, it does help you pre-charge Negating Fang and then loop it because of the special charges of the weapon. And if foe initiates combat or has got at or above 75% HP, then you're able to get plus 5 to all of your stats. You also get special cooldown charge plus 1 on her attacks, only on her attacks, not on the foe's attacks. And you also inflict the guard effect on the foe in the combat. And finally, you get 8 flat damage reduction whenever you trigger any kind of defensive special. Miracle is not really included in this, and the flat damage reduction can definitely be helpful when it comes to the tanking. But like I said before, she is going to be facing competition from Legendary Corrin when it comes to being a Dragon Omni tank. You can still try and get some premium skills on her, even though she comes with attack speed finish 4, which is basically the premium skill for most of the Omni tanks. But still you can try and get some other stuff like Counter or 4 in her slot B. So Dragonstone Plus is going to be an alternative weapon that you can choose, which is going to be giving you the flat damage reduction and the null follow-up effect. And because dragons don't really have access to Ruptured Sky, Blue Flame is the only premium special you can run. Bonus Doubler 4 is going to be an alternate option for her slot A because she can function as an Omni tank, and if you get attack speed Oath 4, then it is going to be working really well for giving you the extra stats. And you can also run Counter Roar 4, which is going to be an upgrade from her Dragon Strat 4 because Counter Roar gives you the damage reflection and also the damage reduction against the brave hits and also the healing. So it is going to be good for the self-sustain, and Null Counter Disrupt is also an option if you're trying to build her up more for Ether Raid's offense. And if you want to pierce through the damage reduction, then Magical Null Follow-Up or Attack Resistance Tempo 4 are going to be the main options. And they're also going to be giving you other effects. So the Null Follow-Up effect is going to be useful, and then getting the full tempo effect is going to be good with the guard effect of her weapon. For her slot C, she can try and combo up Attack Speed Oath 4 with Bonus Doubler, but Panic Smoke 4 can also be an option for a tanking build, and Infantry Null Follow-Up 4 is present in the skill pool, so it's also a skill you can try and get so that she can get the Null Follow-Up status and the Order status and also support her allies. Halloween male Corrin is a green infantry dragon with Starlight Stone as his preferred weapon. This gives him minus some special cooldown, but he doesn't really have Negating Fang like Legendary female Corrin. And if foe initiates combat or has got HP at or above 75%, then he's able to get plus 6 attack in the combat and inflict minus 6 attack debuff on the foe. He's also able to inflict the guard effect on the foe, which is helpful as a slower dragon, and then he can heal up 7 HP per attack in the combat. So he's got the in-combat healing, and if the foe can make a follow-up attack, then he's able to get 75% damage reduction from their first attack. This damage reduction is pierceable, so you'll have to watch out for many of the modern nukes that do have a lot of damage reduction piercing. He can function as a decent Omni tank, but unfortunately he doesn't really have the Negating Fang, which is going to be not that good because you're going to be depending fully on the pierceable damage reduction, which is not all that consistent nowadays, but you can still try and get some premium skills on him. So New Sunstone Plus is going to be the main alternative weapon that you can try and get, and because he has got more resistance, you can easily run Attack Resistance Scowl on him, which is going to be helpful for the tanking, especially with the guard effect in his weapon. And if you have got more investment on him, then he's going to be enjoying the Scout skill. You can also run Attack Resistance Finish 4 in his slot A if you don't really want to get the Scout skill. And for his slot B, you can try and get Attack Resistance Tempo so that you can have some kind of damage reduction piercing yourself. And the defensive tempo effect is really good with the guard effect. So you're going to be stopping the enemy specials and they're not charging up their specials unless they have got Null Guard themselves. And you can also run Special Spiral 4 if you want to get the full damage reduction piercing. You mainly are going to be looking for some kind of Tempo 4 or Special Spiral 4 because stacking up damage reduction at that point with this weapon is going to be giving you diminishing returns. So while Counter Roar 4 can still be run, I do think that you can just go with Attack Resistance Tempo and get the damage reduction piercing yourself and also get the tempo effect. And for his slots, you can run Panic Smoke 4 for the tanking and also for getting the foe penalty doubler effect. And at max investment, if you're going to be going with the Resistance Ascended Boon and also if you're going to be Summoner supporting him, then he can easily run Attack Resistance Ploy 3 as a slotsy skill. You can also run the Pledge skill if you're trying to run 3 cooldown specials like Iceberg or Bonfire on him, so that way he can retaliate back with the specials. But if you don't really want to run Pledge, then you can still run Glimmer, which you're going to be able to retaliate back against because you have got Null Guard out of the Tempo skill. Fallen Lilith is a red flying dragon with silent power as her preferred weapon. This gives her +3 speed and not minus in special cooldown, but still Emblem Marth can help you with that, and she can warp to a space within 2 spaces of a support partner. So this kind of warping is global, and that is going to be helping you if you want to use her on a Gale Force team in Aether Raid's offense, and it can also help in Summoner duels. At start of turn, if she's within 3 spaces of her support partner, then she's able to give herself and the support partner null follow-up status. Now, back when she came out, there were not a lot of ways of easily outsourcing null follow-up, and now we just have so many skills and units who can do that, so it's not really all that unique anymore, and she has definitely fallen off as a support unit. She also is able to get +5 to all of her stats, but that is pretty much it. So mainly she's going to be there as a support unit who can warp with her weapon, and you can definitely double down on the player phase aspect of her. But unfortunately, dragons don't really have access to a lot of skills, but still you can run Flared Sparrow and Occultist Strike on her to stack up the pre-combat damage, and Dragonstone Plus again is going to be the weapon you can pick, and because she's a dragon, Blue Flame is going to be the special choice. So for Slotty, you can also run Attack Speed Unity or even Attack Speed Clash, which does synergize well with the warping that she has got. So that could be done if you're trying to have more of a mixed phase build, but doubling down on her player phase is definitely something you can do. Counter Roar 4 is going to be an option for a mixed phase build, and if you want to go the player phase route and have something else than Occultist Strike, then Desperation 4 is going to be there, and because she's going to be warping, and because she has got null follow-up in her weapon, she's easily able to make use of Desperation 4. And for her slots, you can get Soaring Guidance so that you can enable the warping of flying and infantry allies, but you can also get Guidance 4 or Attack Speed Rain Snap, or even Deadly Miasma actually. But keep in mind that Deadly Miasma does clash with the fire terrain of Flared Sparrow, so only get it if you're not going to be running Flared Sparrow in her slot A. Legendary Ryoma is a really old legendary unit, and he's there as a sword flyer with Raijinto as his preferred weapon. So this was one of the distant counter weapons, which did get a pretty tame weapon refine as far as the modern weapons are concerned. So it has got distant counter effect built in, and it also gives him +4 to all of the stats and also has the null follow-up effect. And nowadays we just have better arcane weapons, so Arcane Devourer is going to be a much better weapon than Raijinto, which you can run on him. Even though he's going to be missing out on the distant counter effect, still distant counter melee sacred seal is available, and he also has Bushido 2 as his preferred skill, and this does have Iod Shield built in, and it does give him +7 true damage, and it also has the dodge damage reduction built in, which can go up to 40%, so not the most insane preferred skill, and now it is going to be facing competition from stuff like Guard Bearing 4 and Gambit 4, which are able to give you more damage reduction and a lot more consistently. And meeting the dodge damage reduction speed check is going to be hard for Ryoma nowadays because we have super fast units. And because he's an old legendary unit, he doesn't really have the pair up effect. So if you want to use him in arena, then you'll have to use him with R Dual Flying 4. So he's definitely one of the worst water legendary units because he's in the season with stuff like legendary Crom, for example, and he doesn't really provide much of a support or even excels in combat that much. So if you're a big Ryoma fan, only try and get him if you have him at plus submerge, or eventually you plan on plus submerging him, because he can definitely try and get some premium scales here, like no quarter. So it is going to be present in the scale pool, so you can definitely try and get that, and then run Guard Bearing 4, because we are not going to be running Gambit, as we want to use our special in no quarter. So Guard Bearing 4 can give you more damage reduction than Bushido too, and also a lot more easily. And it's also going to be the best slot B option for him, so definitely try and get that. And Attack Speed Unity is going to be one of the few options that you can run on a melee flyer, so you can definitely try and get that. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get Arcane Devourer, which is perfect with this kind of build because you're going to be able to retaliate back with no quarters. So maybe after you pick him up as a Forma unit, you can try and give that weapon. But if not, then still this build can work. And finally, in slot C, you want to run something that can help your teammates in Arena, so Guidance 4 can be helpful, or even Soaring Guidance depending on if you've got an armor unit in your Arena core or not. And Deadly Miasma is also going to be an option, starting with this Hall of Forms. The next month, we're going to be having 3 Houses Hall of Forms, and these are all of the potential options that we could have. Sothis is pretty much confirmed for the next month because we have got 5 units rerunning in the red pool, and obviously we've got 2 remix banners, so that's why Sothis is likely going to be on the Hall of Forms banner, and Sothis is going to be logged in for the red color. But if I had to narrow down the other options, then for the blue pool, I would say that Kadan Male Byleth could happen because he's a 4-star focus, and he's also a popular merch project option. Same goes for Summer Claude, and then they could have the Divine Code units like Summer Dimitri and also Brave Female Byleth, so that could be an option. And because they have done the Choose Your Legends units before, they could also have Gatekeeper as the green option and Cornelia as the staff unit, and she does have a preferred staff, so I think that she does have good chances of appearing. You can click the link on your screen right now to see my review of Mavier, our latest Render Battle unit. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Rajento's Weapon Refine against Arcane Devourer. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.